Chapter 1451 Lu family's banquet is really of nobility. Gu Jingze looked up and really got a fright immediately. Wow, so handsome, there are handsome guys at the entrance. Who, they even drove here, are they students? How can students be driving cars? The teacher looked out as well and saw two punkish and handsome looking guys. He frowned. Gu Jingze had no choice but to walk out. What are you all doing? Who asked you to come? Gu Jingze crossed her arms as she spoke. The two of them held on to Gu Jingze. All right, there's no meaning to tutoring. Come, let's go have fun. Ah, no. Gu Jingze could not resist them and got pulled away. In the end, Fu Chengxi chose to go to Lu's home in a brighter color. She debated for a while at home before finally picking the color. She felt very nervous as it was the Lu family's banquet. She only hoped she would be at her best for the Lu family to see, for Lu Qinyu to see and for Lu Baikan to see. She did not wish to embarrass herself. Her family members saw how dressed up and beautiful she was and found it strange. When Fu Chengxi went out the door, she did not even want to look at her parents. She always felt that it was unfair that she was born into such an ordinary family. Her parents looked at her and asked, "Chengxi, where are you going after you've put on makeup? You're a student, it's not good to put on makeup." Fu Chengxi immediately frowned and said, "What do you guys know? I have to put on makeup when I attend a banquet." "What, you're just a student and you're attending a banquet? I've already said you won't understand. Get off my back." Fu Chengxi immediately opened the door and headed out. She was usually an obedient girl. Her family did not know what had gotten into her, which sparked such a huge change. Fu Chengxi got into Lu Baikan's car far from her home. She had gotten Lu Baikan to pick her up not too close to her home. Lu Baikan saw Fu Chengxi and smiled. "Your clothes are not bad. Your taste is not bad." Fu Chengxi's eyes moved. She smiled. "Is that so?" She did not mention that Gu Jingze had picked this outfit for her. Soon, they arrived at the banquet. The location of the banquet was more impressive than that of the schools. One could tell that it was a very upscale place. When she got out of the car, she looked up and sighed. One look at the sign with the 7 stars and she knew that this place was a 7-star rated hotel. Lu Baikan was already walking over when she got out of the car. She hurried to catch up. Looking at the people who came, one looked nobler than the next. The number of beautiful women was uncountable. This was much more grand and significant than the school's banquet. At first, Fu Chengxi was still quite confident with the attire she had on and had dressed up well. She thought she was in a good spot. As long as Gu Jingze didn't come, then she would not embarrass Lu Baikan. Unexpectedly, upon arriving, she saw so many beautiful women. Right away, she felt insignificant. She held onto her hands tighter. Looking at Lu Baikan, she felt scared to keep up with him anymore. Lu Baikan did not realize her uneasiness. He turned back to say, "Walk quickly." Fu Chengxi hurried over. Soon, they entered the place. Then, she discovered that there were even celebrities walking past in the lobby. Fu Chengxi said, "There are so many beautiful women." Lu Baikan just nodded. Fu Chengxi wanted to test him. "Can't you see, there are so many beautiful women?" Lu Baikan asked, "What does that have to do with me?" Fu Chengxi lowered her head. "Nothing, I'm just afraid I'll embarrass you." Lu Baikan replied, "What are you thinking? That won't happen. They are them, I am me, who cares about me?" However, he may have said as such, but there were still numerous people who noticed Lu Baikan as soon as they walked in. This was the Lu family's banquet after all. Lu Baikan was the successor of the Lu family. How could people not notice him? Fu Chengxi then realized how powerful Lu Baikan actually was. The adults who looked like officials and executives all bowed to him and Lu Baikan did not seem to bother about anyone. Fu Chengxi wondered how affluent the Lu family was that everyone was so afraid of them. Just then, "Baikan, you're here." Someone said, "Your father is inside. Go in quickly." Lu Baikan nodded and took Fu Chengxi along to head in. "Lu Baikan, why are you only here now? I've already helped entertain your father for half a day." The woman inside was dressed in warm yellow. She looked pretty and generous. Though she was young, she looked like a noble princess. Lu Baikan said, got it. You can leave first." "Hey, you don't care about me now that you've made use of me. Call yourself my older brother." The young girl placed her hands on her hips. This young lady was Lu Chuxia, Lu Baikan's younger sister. Fu Chengxi's eyes lit up when she heard this. Lu Baikan brushed Lu Chuxia aside. Lu Chuxia scoffed and noticed Fu Chengxi who was behind. She frowned and asked, "Who's this?" "None of your business." Lu Baikan pulled Fu Chengxi in immediately. Fu Chengxi looked at Lu Baikan. That's your younger sister. Yeah, don't bother about her. She has issues. How can it be? Fu Chengxi turned back to look. I think she's very pretty. No matter how pretty she is, it can't change the sick brain she has. Lu Baikan said. What sick brain? Who are you talking about? Lu Chuxia said from inside. Fu Chengxi saw Lu Qinyu in a moment and immediately lowered her head. Lu Qinyu saw her. Oh, you're here. Lu Qinyu smiled. Your dress is not bad. Where did you borrow it from? Fu Chengxi was shocked. Lu Baikan frowned. Dad, when did you start researching women's clothes? Lu Qinyu turned to face Lu Baikan. If you've nothing better to do, bring your friend around. But you have to be clear. There are many guests today. Don't run about thoughtlessly. What would people think if they see it? I know, don't have to nag. Where is Jingyan and all? Why aren't they here? Lu Qinyu asked. Gu Jingyan is at tuition class. She isn't coming, Lu Baikan replied. Lu Qinyu nodded his head in appreciation. This girl Jingyan is not bad. Smart, studious and so diligent. Even with the affluence of the Gu family, she still prioritizes studying as a student. She's not bad. She knows how to be studious and not neglect her studies for frivolous activities. Fu Chengxi's heart stopped. She saw Lu Qinyu turn around. Young lady, how is your studies in their school? What's your usual ranking for the examinations? Fu Chengxi was dumbfounded for a moment. She has always been poor in her studies. She was lucky to enter the school. After that, with so many good students around, it was already not bad that she could be ranked. Moreover, after getting together with Lu Baikan and under his influence, she actually got worse in her studies. She stuttered, not knowing what to say. Lu Qinyu raised his eyebrows. Chapter 1452 Admiring nobody else but Gu Jingyan. Lu Qinyu did not say anything. He only sighed and smiled at her. But this made Fu Chengxi feel even worse. Somehow, it felt like she had been denied. Especially when Lu Qinyu did not mention it directly. If not, she did not need to blind guess. Lu Baikan asked, Dad, so what if her studies are good? This is a banquet, not a parent meeting, right? Alright, Chengxi, come. Let's go inside for some food. Just then, Lu Chuxia came over again. She looked at Fu Chengxi and a surprise came on her face. At first, she naturally did not react as she did not know who this was. Moreover, she never paid any attention to this very ordinary girl. Having heard Lu Qinyu's words, she got a little curious. Could it be this girl was who they talked about, Lu Baikan's girlfriend? That was too ordinary. Lu Chuxia scoffed, looked at her, and asked, What's your name? How come I haven't seen you before? Fu Chengxi was interrupted by her arrogant voice. She flinched and replied, I'm Fu Chengxi. Oh, I've never heard of you. Who's your father? Lu Baikan frowned. Lu Chuxia, that's enough. What are you doing? Lu Chuxia was very direct with her words, especially to a person she did not have high regard for. Brother, who's this? Don't tell me she's your girlfriend. So what if she is? Haha, nothing much, just that. Lu Chuxia scoffed and looked up and down at her. What taste you have? Fu Chengxi sank when she heard that. Her legs weakened. Lu Baikan looked and dragged Lu Chuxia away. Lu Chuxia, what are you doing? He said coldly. Lu Chuxia asked, Why? Can't I be honest? Lu Chuxia looked back and scrutinized Fu Chengxi. Seriously, not good looking. You have so many pretty girls around you. Why would you pick a person like this? Have you lost your mind? Lu Baikan scoffed. Pretty girls? You, haha, forget it. Low EQ and annoying, you make no sense when you speak. Hey, who are you talking about? Lu Chuxia put her hands on her waist angrily. Don't you know who I'm talking about? Don't you usually look at yourself in the mirror? You just said what I said about your girlfriend. But what I've said is the truth. She's not good enough for you. Ha, good enough or not, is not for you to say. Lu Baikan turned around after saying his piece. He could not be bothered with her and pulled Fu Chengxi away to leave. Fu Chengxi was very hurt. She pushed him awkwardly. Don't pull me. Lu Baikan turned back to say, Alright, don't bother about her. If she wasn't my sister, I would have chased her out of the house long ago. She's selfish, willful, and shoots her mouth. Fu Chengxi shook her head. She felt that what she said was not wrong. She was too ordinary. Lu Baikan said, Don't take her words to heart. Fu Chengxi said, I am too ordinary. How are you ordinary? I think you're fantastic. Fu Chengxi looked at him. Really? Of course, ordinary or not, that's not for her to say. Fu Chengxi felt comforted. Yes, even if she was ordinary, wasn't it enough as long as she was not ordinary in Lu Baikon's eyes? Just then, someone muttered. Have you seen her? Gu family's fourth young mistress has arrived. Gu family's fourth young mistress. Which fourth young mistress? It's the fourth young mistress who doesn't usually show herself. You haven't seen anything yet. She's exceptionally beautiful. It's no wonder the Gu family has been so protective. If she showed her face every day, suitors would be lining up from B city to S city. Everyone looked over. Just then, Gu Jingyan entered in. The strange thing was, she was not wearing anything special, just some sports attire. Gu Jingyan's didn't mean to come without dressing up. It was just that she was dragged there by Boss Shu and the rest, so she did not have the time to change. People relied on clothes, no doubt. But not for Gu Jingyan. With only a sports attire on, Gu Jingyan's slim figure in the sports attire exuded her youth. Everyone looked at how Gu Jingyan had entered and started talking with their friends about it. Youth is really unbeatable, attending a banquet barefaced. Does she need to dress up? She's the Gu family's fourth young mistress. Dressing up for you, you think too highly of yourself. Even if she doesn't dress up, she still looks on point. That's right, also, she looks good in sports attire. Unlike you who needs so much powder to cover your wrinkles. Moreover, she's the Gu family's fourth young mistress. She doesn't have to live up to anyone's reputation. She can come in whatever makes her comfortable. Who cares how you see her? No matter how you look at her, she doesn't care. This is the high life. Gu Jingyan had not expected that she would not have the time. She only thought of coming over to have some fun. She did not care so much about others. Fu Chengxi was speechless for a while. She stood there watching. Despite wearing a simple attire, Gu Jingyan ultimately became the hot topic. This was the effect of a family's background. Fu Chengxi smiled bitterly. Seeing Gu Jingyan walking over, Lu Baikon asked, I thought you weren't coming. It's all because of them. They insisted on dragging me here. Gu Jingyan answered. Lu Baikon looked at the other two and said to Gu Jingyan, since you're already here, have fun as much as you can. Let's go, I'll take you inside. Just then, Lu Chuxia came and saw that Gu Jingyan had arrived. She froze and not thinking little of Gu Jingyan in the slightest bit, she hurried over. Sister Jingyan, you're here. Gu Jingyan turned her head around. Oh, Chuxia, I haven't seen you for a long time. Yeah, I've missed you. You don't even come to our house to play. You weren't here when I visited. Oh man, Sister Jingyan, this attire of yours is the latest, right? I've seen celebrities wear it. It suits you perfectly, you look super slim. Gu Jingyan laughed. Is that so? I don't know anything. Lu Chuxia said, you definitely don't know. You focus on your studies every day but your family's caretaker knows how to get it for you. My family's caretaker can't do it. Clueless about fashion and I even have to do it myself. Gu Jingyan smiled. Fu Chengxi looked at Lu Chuxia from the back. She gritted her teeth. Was it because of Gu Jingyan's affluent family? Why was she so popular? Or was it no matter how she was, Lu Chuxia would still want to compliment her? Fu Chengxi did not expect that everyone would be so eager to please Gu Jingyan. Was everyone that afraid of the Gu family? Lu Baikon saw Lu Chuxia appear again and immediately pulled her aside. Enough from you. Go out quickly if you've nothing to do. Why are you hovering over us? Lu Chuxia asked, why are you pulling me? Lu Baikon said, you've complimented Gu Jingyan enough. Lu Chuxia said, why? I don't admire anyone but Gu Jingyan. Look at her, she's so dignified, she doesn't need to dress up and she always looks so dignified. Also, she's so good at studying. So hardworking and so knowledgeable. The Gu family has such good genes. Lu Baikon felt she was exaggerating but thinking about it, he could not deny the fact. Chapter 1453 Are you just toying with me? Gu Jingyan was already a scenery on her own just by standing there. Gu Jingyan walked in and Lu Qinyu welcomed her. Oh my, I was just asking why weren't you here? Uncle Lu, they insisted on dragging me here. See, I didn't even change my clothes. It's embarrassing to turn up like this. Hey, you don't have to change your clothes. Treat this as your own home and that you're just here to have fun. You don't need to dress up formally. But this is a banquet. You look beautiful in anything you wear. Oh my, see, old Gu is so lucky to have such a beautiful daughter. I'm so jealous of him. Uncle Lu, isn't Chuxia beautiful? My mom is jealous of you too. Chuxia is so sensible and capable. She's now the capital's top socialite. As for me, I'm such a deadbeat. My mom always says that if she had such a good girl for a daughter, she'd be so willing to swap me out. Who wouldn't like others to praise their children? No matter how someone liked another person's child, he or she wouldn't not like their own children. Thus, when Lin Che heard her, he beamed. We can exchange next time. Seriously, my daughter only knows how to create trouble. I worry about her non-stop. You could teach her too. Yeah, it would be nice if we could balance each other out, right? Well, there is never such a good thing, Lin Che said. This tender loving behavior looked extremely harmonious in the eyes of others. They looked on in wonder. These two top family clans had such a good relationship. It really made one envy. However, everyone said that Lu Baiken's girlfriend was someone else. To people, this was surprising and unbelievable. Fu Chengxi heard Gu Jingze and old man Lu's exchange loud and clear. Gu Jingze really knew how to hold a conversation. Furthermore, she looked so gracious and did not seem to lack in anything. People around watched and said, the Gu family produced a good daughter. She is so likable. And she knows how to talk, and how to step in and out of the limelight. She doesn't seem to have any flaw. She is very amicable. Fu Chengxi quietly backed away. As she stood to the side and watched, there was an unexplainable feeling in her heart. Perhaps she shouldn't think that way, but at this moment, there was some hatred in her heart. If she had such a good family background too, she wouldn't have to be met by judgment. It was a pity that her family was so average. In fact, they were far from being rich. How could they compare with all these elite wealthy families? When Gu Jingze was done chatting with everyone, she then followed the group to sit behind. She sat down but did not see Fu Chengxi. Gu Jingze asked, where is Chengxi? Lu Baiken also did not see her. He looked left and right before saying, she probably went to the washroom. Gu Jingze looked at her. Can you look after your girlfriend better? Lu Baiken said, we're all adults. Don't tell me she'd still get lost. Gu Jingze shook her head and looked at Lu Baiken, who lowered his head to eat. Given that sloppy behavior, he did not look like he was the type to care too much about his girlfriend. Thankfully, she was not his girlfriend. Otherwise, she'd definitely be angered to death. But she couldn't deny that he was actually not a bad person as a friend. Gu Jingze was opening a can of drink. Seeing that she was struggling, Lu Baiken took it and opened it for her. Gu Jingze said, thanks. No need to be so formal with me. Gu Jingze looked at him. Actually, you're quite a nice guy when you're not arguing or fighting. Of course, I am a good guy, to begin with. Haha. Seriously, Gu Jingze, you're just biased against me. We kinda know each other since we were kids. No matter how I bully you, that's between us. Don't worry, if any outsider dares to lay a finger on you, I won't let him off because we're friends. Got it? Gu Jingze smiled and said, okay, I know. If you weren't so domineering and arrogant, you're actually quite nice. Yeah, if you weren't so barbaric and unreasonable, you're actually quite nice too. You. What? You said it first. Gu Jingze glared hard at him. But when everyone looked at one another, they smiled in amusement. It was lively here. Not long after, Fu Chengxi came back. The color of her face was off. She did not look good. Gu Jingze nudged Lu Baiken. Go check on Chengxi. Lu Baiken then quickly hurried over. What's wrong? Nothing, it's just I think I should go home. Are you feeling unwell? Yes, a little. Come on then, I'll send you home. Fu Chengxi looked at him and nodded silently. The couple got to the house entrance. Lu Baiken opened the car door for her. Fu Chengxi looked at him. Baiken. What's wrong? I think. Tell me. Do you like me? Of course. Lu Baiken looked at Fu Chengxi. You're my girlfriend. Fu Chengxi shook her head. So are you with me because you like me? Of course. But I don't understand. Why do you like me? Lu Baiken had never thought that much. He was definitely a rich playboy because his family had wealth and power. He didn't have to think so carefully when he did anything. He only did things according to his own will. If he wanted to, he would. If he didn't want to, he wouldn't. Seeing that he kept silent, Fu Chengxi bit her lip as she got out of the car, closed the door, and walked in while crying. Hey, Chengxi, Fu Chengxi, what are you doing? Fu Chengxi cried and said, go, leave. I don't want to see you. What's wrong? What did I do that makes you not want to see me? Of course, Lu Baiken didn't understand. He was only bewildered. He hadn't said anything. Fu Chengxi stood at the door. Are you just toying with me? Are you with me because you think I'm fun to fool around with? Why would you think that way? Was he that kind of person? Of course not. That thought had never crossed his mind. Neither had he ever done that. He thought that he had been a good boyfriend. How did she end up with this kind of sentiment? Don't let your mind run wild. It must be the case. You're so rich that you can play with whoever you want. Why me? Go. I don't want to see you anymore. Don't disturb me ever again. Lu Baiken really did not understand what had gotten into her. He heard her go upstairs. For a long time, he tried to call her on her mobile phone but she did not pick up. He stood there and shouted out to her but was ignored. He cursed silently. He also felt perplexed as he left. Fu Chengxi really did not believe that he would fancy anything about her. Especially when so many people felt that she was no match for him. It made her worry more. Was he toying with her? Was he going to leave her? Was he never serious about her? She had no idea. Her heart and mind were a mess. Chapter 1454 Chengxi, are you dating? Lu Baiken felt it was ridiculous. The next day, Gu Jingze listened to Fu Chengxi. I think we should forget it. Lu Baiken and I are actually not that matching. She felt upset as she said this. Gu Jingze said, nonsense about all this matching. Matching or not is not up to others to say. What makes you think you guys are not matching? It's just that you guys are from the same world. Ha, so we quarrel every day and we're from the same world. You've never quarreled with him and you're from a different world. Fu Chengxi looked at Gu Jingze. Do you really think we're suitable for each other? Isn't dating supposed to be about feelings? Why do you have to look at the suitability? If two people feel it, then they're suited for each other. Just say if you like him or not. Isn't that enough? Gu Jingze spoke simply. She did not care so much when it came to other people's relationship issues. Fu Chengxi bit her lip. She liked him, a lot. And because she liked him, she did not have a sense of security. Fu Chengxi did not attend classes and followed Gu Jingze towards her tuition class. As they walked, Gu Jingze stopped. Alright, he's here. You guys have a good talk. If there's nothing else, I'll make a move first. Fu Chengxi turned her head and saw that Lu Baiken was already walking over. She was surprised. Seeing how natural Gu Jingze was, she realized that it was Gu Jingze who had secretly informed Lu Baiken. Fu Chengxi did not know what to say. She only lowered her head. Gu Jingze said to Lu Baiken, treat me to a meal next time. Lu Baiken smiled and signaled her an, okay, with his hand. Gu Jingze turned around to leave. When she looked back, she saw Lu Baiken and Fu Chengxi talking, and as they talked, Fu Chengxi had lowered her head down. It looked like they were reconciling. She looked keenly for a bit before leaving. The end of term examination was approaching and Gu Jingze continued being the top scorer in the entire school. As for Lu Baiken, his results seemed about the same, and was ranked as the second in the entire school. Everyone was in disbelief. The teachers were amazed too. What medicine had Lu Baiken taken? Fu Chengxi was amazed when she saw the results. Gu Jingze turned to look at Lu Baiken. Didn't you say you didn't want to study? Lu Baiken raised his eyebrows and leaned back complacently. The Lord, would like to tell you that it's not that I can't study well. I just think it's too simple. I can't be bothered to study. Look, with just a bit of effort and I've caught up. Gu Jingze felt somewhat amazed, but Fu Chengxi was completely dazed. She had thought that being with Lu Baiken and with their studies were not being very good, they were of different worlds from Gu Jingze. Never did she expect that Lu Baiken would discreetly. In fact, only Lu Baiken knew about this matter. He was not used to seeing Gu Jingze getting all the praises, excelling in studies, being so smart, and capable. He thought about this matter. As long as the effort was put in, anyone could get good results. Studying was such a simple thing. Thus, discreetly, he really put in a lot of effort. He just did not expect after trying for more than a month that he would still not surpass Gu Jingze. He felt a little disgruntled, especially when he saw that he missed out by 10 odd points. However, he put on an appearance like he did not put in any effort at all, making people grit their teeth. The teacher did a special mention and said jubilantly, I'm very happy that this time, 2 students from our class are in the top 10 of the entire school. The first is still Gu Jingze. She has been in the first place for the whole year and the pride of our class. As for the other student, I really have to take my hat off him. He's none other than Lu Baiken. After half a year of effort, he managed to enter into the top 10 of the entire school from having just entered the rankings. He's now in the 8th position, fighting along with our classmate, Gu Jingze, which is also something to be proud of. May I please invite these 2 students to come on stage to share their experience? Gu Jingze looked back at Lu Baiken. He had already jumped up and he waved to her. Gu Jingze had no choice but to follow him up to the stage. Fu Chengxi watched and felt her hands clench tighter. The image of them both going up on stage was dazzling. It made her feel that the distance between them was getting further. Why did they have to be good at everything? Even their brains. Just studying haphazardly and they could get good grades. As for her, no matter how hard she worked, she could only be in the last few places. This made her very upset. By the time the two of them had finished sharing their experience, Fu Chengxi was already out of sight. In any case, winter vacation had started. During the holidays, Gu Jingze was still putting effort into all her learning. As for Lu Baikan, he was still taking it easy and meeting up with Fu Chengxi. Other than that, he was busy at home. Just that when he sent Fu Chengxi home, her parents had already found out that they were dating. Chengxi, who's that just now? Why was there a car? Her family immediately questioned her when she got home. Fu Chengxi replied impatiently, none of your business. Chengxi, you're a girl. You can't go down the wrong path. You're so young, don't get fooled by those older guys. Tell your mom. Mom, what are you gibbering about? That was my classmate, not some older guy. What? No, we don't believe it. Don't think you can lie to us, Chengxi. Mom, why would I lie to you? It's really my classmate. My school is powerful. Do you know how many powerful classmates I have? Her parents looked at each other and immediately understood. Then tell me, are you dating? Fu Chengxi blushed unknowingly. Her parents started being even more concerned. Though still too young and dating was not a good thing, when she enrolled in the school, they had heard that the school was very powerful. All the wealthy people were in it. It would be a lie if they were unmoved. If she got in and found herself a rich man, she could marry in the future. They knew that it was luck that their Chengxi managed to get into the first year. It was not because she had the capability. They did not have much hope of her making it to university and getting a job. Thus, her other ideal option was to find someone adequate enough to marry. It was just that they did not expect it to happen that fast. They were very surprised. The Lu family, that was not an ordinary family. The next day, a group of people arrived at Fu Chengxi's door. The outsiders were shocked, seeing a few cars stopped outside the Fu family's home. Fu Chengxi's parents were even more puzzled. Coming out of the car was a tall man in his 40s. Is Fu Chengxi your daughter? Chapter 1455. Fu Chengxi left. When Fu Chengxi came home, her parents were already saying to her happily, Chengxi, break up with Lu Baikan. Fu Chengxi looked at her parents as if she had been struck by lightning. What's wrong? Fu Chengxi's parents said, Lu Baikan's father dropped by just now. What he said was right. Our statuses are too different. Lu Baikan is young and he's just toying with you. Don't fall for his trap. Once he's sick of you, he'll leave you and you'll have nothing. It's better if you wake up and leave him as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll be a double loss if you wait too long. What double loss? What did they give you? Fu Chengxi's parents were a little embarrassed but still told the truth. They gave us 10 million yuan. It's so much money, they are really rich. Chengxi, leave him, otherwise, you'll never have a chance like this again. 10 million, 10 million. His family spent 10 million yuan to get rid of her. Should she feel honored? 15 minutes later, Fu Chengxi ran out of her house. Half an hour later, she appeared at the Lu family's door. Lu Baikan picked up the call and quickly came out. He looked at Fu Chengxi and asked, what's wrong? Fu Chengxi grabbed Lu Baikan. Baikan, tell me, do you like me? Lu Baikan said, I do. He had been answering this question by Fu Chengxi recently. He thought that Fu Chengxi was really too sensitive these days and kept asking him the same question. Fu Chengxi looked up at him. Then will you really be with me for the rest of our lives? What? Lu Baikan never thought about these things. They were still so young and had a whole lifetime ahead of them. Who knew what was going to happen? Chengxi, listen to me. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the future, right? We take things one step at a time? Fu Chengxi's hand suddenly fell. Lu Baikan said, hey, Chengxi. Fu Chengxi pushed Lu Baikan away. You are all lying to me. You're all liars. Fu Chengxi turned around and ran off. Hey, Chengxi. Lu Baikan called out, but Fu Chengxi did not turn back. Lu Baikan thought of asking her about it tomorrow. He did not know what happened. However, Fu Chengxi went and never came back. The next day, Lu Baikan went to her place. However, he discovered that the Fu family's house had already completely moved out without a trace. Lu Baikan wanted to burst. He upturned the whole world in his search. Gu Jingyan, has Fu Chengxi gone to look for you? Lu Baikan called Gu Jingyan on the phone. Gu Jingyan replied, what happened? What about Chengxi? She didn't come to me. Really? No, I don't believe it. She's gone and you're her only friend. You must know something at least. Gu Jingyan paused, then asked to talk in person. They met outside. Gu Jingyan then handed a letter to Lu Baikan. When Chengxi left, she said that you two were from different worlds and you were bound to leave her. Thus, she'd rather be the one to leave first. You, Lu Baikan grabbed Gu Jingyan forcefully. How could you just let her leave like that? Why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you tell me? Gu Jingyan said plainly, Lu Baikan, wake up. She wants to leave and that shows that she did not have a sense of security with you. Would this be because of me? What's the use of getting mad at me? Lu Baikan knew that this was all due to his own negligence. For some time in the past, Fu Chengxi hadn't quite been herself but he never bothered. After leaving Gu Jingyan, Lu Baikan wondered if he had really done anything evil. Otherwise, why would Fu Chengxi just leave so quietly, without even giving him a reason? The year passed uneventfully. One semester after another, he never heard from Fu Chengxi. Intel University. As expected, Gu Jingyan was admitted to the best in B City, Q University. Lu Baikan surprisingly got into the same university too. Everyone had to stay in the dorms at university. Gu Jingyan was studying abroad, so she could only join a few days later. Carrying luggage in all sizes, she thought despondently at the airport. She should have told her family that she was returning today, but she was already standing here and she was too lazy to call home. She flipped through her address book and selected Lu Baikan's contact. At this time, Lu Baikan was still hanging at the bar in school. Drink up. Wow, young Master Lu, you really can hold your liquor. Young Master Lu, why are you so cool? In the bar next to the school, many students from the surrounding universities would come to have fun. He had gathered many girls around him. Boss Shu and Little Q were there too. The group of people was noisy and lively. Lu Baikan said, okay, you guys drink. Whoever drinks the most will get this. As he spoke, he took off the watch worth 1,000,000 yuan from his wrist and placed it on the table. Their eyes lit up and immediately drank up excitedly. Young Master Lu is so generous. Young Master Lu is really too generous. Everyone looked at Lu Baikan and was really drawn to his coolness and generosity. They were lucky to have met Lu Baikan here today. The women wanted to get closer to him and wondered what kind of woman could become his woman. In any case, they thought that it would be an extremely honorable thing. Just then, Lu Baikan's phone, which had been tossed aside, rang. Lu Baikan did not see it. A woman saw it and picked it up. Hey, Lu Baikan, come here for a bit. The woman holding the phone froze. Who was this? Why were the words so harsh? Who are you? Young Master Lu is busy. Gu Jingyan heard that it was a woman. She laughed. Ever since Fu Chengxi left, Lu Baikan really let himself go. She was also used to it already. She scoffed. Hand the phone to Lu Baikan. Ha, just who do you think you are to demand that? Let me repeat myself. Hand the phone to Lu Baikan. Otherwise, you're responsible for your own actions. Ha, who do you think you are? To insist our young Master Lu answers your call. Who are you to him? Young Master Lu is with us now and he's very busy. He can't take your call. Gu Jingyan took a deep breath. Just then on Lu Baikan's side, he discovered that his mobile phone was gone. He looked up to see a woman holding it. He frowned. What the hell? What are you doing? That woman looked and quickly handed the phone to him coquettishly. She said, Young Master Lu, you see. There's a fierce woman on the phone who insists that you answer her call. She sounds so rude. She dares to talk to you like that. I was lecturing her on your behalf. A fierce woman? Lu Baikan snatched his mobile phone back. Boss Shu asked at the side, could it be Gu Jingyan? It seems like she has returned from abroad. Ha, it has to be her. Such fierce words, Little Q said. Chapter 1456. Lu Baikan had captured everyone's attention in school. Hello. Lu Baikan, I don't care what you're doing. Come and carry my luggage now. I have too much luggage to take back and I don't know how to drive. Hurry over. Alright. I'll be there immediately. It's your fault for not letting me know that you're back. In half an hour. And, what are you doing? Where did that woman come from? Lu Baikan looked coldly at the woman at the side. The woman trembled in fear. Lu Baikan said, that's not important. I'll go over now. He put down the phone and changed his clothes. He said, don't mess with my phone. The woman turned pale, once again frightened. After seeing Lu Baikan head out, she then tapped her chest and asked, "Who was that on the phone?" She was so fierce. Boss Shu pouted. "Don't you guys know? In the future, don't mess with this person. Seriously, someone that powerful. The audacity to be so fierce towards young Master Lu. Yeah, who was that exactly? How can young Master Lu tolerate her? Just someone you can't afford to offend." Boss Shu could not be bothered to explain to them and got up to head out. Lu Baikan picked up Gu Jingze and helped her with her big and small bags to the school. Soon, they entered the dormitory. When they entered the dormitory, there was nobody in sight. At this time, everyone was most like doing some self-studying. After all, it was Q University, the top university in the country, and there were plenty of excellent students. Lu Baikan said, "Oh wow, looks like your dormitory has plenty of beautiful girls." He looked around the whole dormitory and spoke. All right, it's already not bad that the dormitory's auntie allowed you to come up. Leave quickly. That's because the auntie can't resist my charms." Yeah, just because of your coquettish ways." Lu Baikan looked at Gu Jingze. "You're just jealous." Gu Jingze said, "Okay, I'm almost done. You can go." "Alright, I'll make a move then. Call me if you need anything." "How courteous." "Of course, your mom had already given me orders to protect you as you're a lone female outside." It was clearly to look out for, but he had to say protect. Seriously. Gu Jingze also knew that her own mother could be very nagging. She must have caught hold on to Lu Baikan and said aplenty. It was the first time Gu Jingze was living on campus. They were somewhat worried. Lu Baikan went downstairs after he said his words. Gu Jingze started packing. This was a standard 4-person dormitory. The study table was below the bunk. The other 3 people looked to be quite clean. They had already packed up nice and neat, nothing seemed to be amiss. Just then, the other 3 roommates returned. They had already attended lessons for many days and were more familiar with one another. They talked and laughed as they entered the room. "Oh, our roommate is here." Everyone looked at Gu Jingze, a stunning image and a face that did not conceal any agenda. What a pretty girl. Even a female would be taken away by her beauty. "You're our roommate." "That's right. Hi, everyone, I'm Gu Jingze." Gu Jingze smiled and waved. "Wow, hello. Everyone introduced themselves and after some greetings, they all went about their own things. They talked as they did what they did. "Ah, Gu Jingze. You were at the dormitory at night. Did you see? They said that Lu Baikan had come to our dormitory, bringing a girl here." Gu Jingze was stunned. She replied, "Oh, really? I didn't know. What about Lu Baikan? Is he very famous?" "Wow, of course. You arrived late so you don't know him. He's very handsome. It's the first time I've seen such a handsome guy. And, he's super cool. Also, he's good in his studies. I've heard he scored very high and got in. He's the young Master Lu. His family is super. You guys don't see how he usually drives a Maserati or Ferrari. His cars are never below $1 million. I never imagined he would be in the same school as us. I'm really honored." Gu Jingze thought that this guy was indeed coquettish. He had only just arrived but had captured the attention of all the girls. The next day, Gu Jingze went to her class. When she got to the lecture room, everyone was already there. She found a seat and while the lecturer was lecturing, all the other classmates were taking glances at Gu Jingze. Gu Jingze was unfamiliar with her classmates as she had arrived late. But everyone was not familiar with her as well. They did not know that they had such a pretty girl in their class. "Is she new? She's in our class. I've never seen her before. So pretty. She's mine. I'll go over to confess later." "Get lost. Don't fight with me." Gu Jingze sat there and did not hear those remarks. But her roommates who were seated with her had seen the reaction of everyone in the class. "Wow, Gu Jingze. You've got the attention of so many guys the moment you arrived." "Yeah, I think they've gone mad." Though the pretty girls paled in comparison, Gu Jingze was indeed too good looking. So as her roommates, they felt quite proud as it was. After all, in an instant, they had also become the topic of discussion in class. Gu Jingze looked up to have a look and said, "What is going on?" "It's because you're too pretty." Gu Jingze raised her eyebrows. After class, a few people had already started making their way over. However, before anyone could reach, Boss Shu had already called. "Jingyan, do you know where the canteen is? Come over." Gu Jingyan said, "All right, I'll be there in a moment." Gu Jingyan did not walk with her roommates as she wanted to have her meal with Boss Shu and the gang. When she stepped out to locate the canteen, she realized that Q University was bigger than she had imagined. Left with no choice, she asked a random guy, "Can you tell me where the canteen is?" The guy who got stopped was amazed. He did not think that the goddess everyone was talking about in class would actually speak to him. The canteen is over there. Do you want to go there? I can show you the way. Really, thank you very much. Gu Jingyan smiled. The guy almost lost it. Seeing her smile, he felt that he could do anything for her. You don't have to be so polite. We're classmates after all. Oh really, what a coincidence. Yeah, you arrived late. So you don't know anyone, I guess. Oh, I just got returned from abroad. So I arrived a little late. I'm Lu Yi, I sat behind you in class today. Really, hi, I'm Gu Jingyan. Yeah, when you arrived, someone in the class had already mentioned your name. You have a nice name. Haha, is that so? Thanks. Gu Jingyan smiled and followed him to the canteen. He felt really honored. He said as he walked, "Look, the guy there must be envying me." Gu Jingyan looked and indeed, many people were staring their way. Lu Yi asked, "Will I get attacked? I think they all want to kill me." Nonsense. Chapter 1457 Get lost, all of you. Of course, our school has too many males and too few females in the first place. There are pretty girls but it's the first to have someone as pretty as you. Gu Jingyan laughed. You really know how to talk. Lu Yi scratched his head shyly. He seemed decent and honest. Once inside, Gu Jingyan did not see the group of them and went to find a place to sit. Let me help to get you a meal. I know which stall has good food. Lu Yi volunteered. Gu Jingyan did not mind and left it up to him to get the meal. Lu Yi returned quickly. Just then, a commotion started around the entrance. Someone shouted, "Look, Lu Baiken." Lu Baiken was seen walking in with a swagger, with a basketball in his hand, talking and laughing with Boss Shu and a few others. He also winked at the pretty girls along the way. Oh my, I think I'll be pregnant just by looking at him. Wow, look, is Lu Baiken looking at me? Gu Jingyan watched as the canteen had turned into a star-chasing arena. Everyone was shouting at Lu Baiken. She felt like she did not want to have her meal with Lu Baiken and the rest anymore. It was too attention-seeking. She would be better off sitting here having her meal. Lu Yi looked enviously at Lu Baiken. Man, how could be there such a perfect guy on earth? Gu Jingyan looked at him in surprise. No way, you like guys. What, how can it be? You're swooning over this guy, Gu Jingyan said. Lu Yi hurriedly explained, I like women all right. I just envy him, having such a good family, with so much wealth and he's so good looking. Man, with the existence of a person like him, we're nothing compared to him. It's going to be tough for us to find a girlfriend. Nah, Gu Jingyan said, they're just having fun. Who really wants to be with him? How can it be? You haven't seen the school's forum. So many girls in the school are willing to form a queue to have his child. What about you? Don't you like a guy like this? You're so pretty, I think you must want to find a guy as good looking as this. Ha, whoever I find, it won't be him. Trust me. Is that so? You're not interested in him? Lu Yi's face showed disbelief. Gu Jingyan said, of course, I'll never be interested in him. They were good friends but he was such a drag when there was nothing to do and they had completely different personalities. How could she see eye to eye with him? Lu Yi looked at Gu Jingyan with intrigue. Then, what's your type? In any case, it's not your type. Gu Jingyan had not forgotten the ridiculous incident she had experienced with Seng Kai. So from then on, she was harsh when it came to rejecting people, not leaving any room from the start. As expected, Lu Yi's eyes had lost their glimmer of hope. He sat there dejected, pouting without a word. However, he only held a little hope in asking, no other intentions. How could he fall head over heels for her at first sight? It was just that she was too pretty that he felt good being with her. Gu Jingyan finished her meal. Sometime in between, Lu Baiken had called her asking why she was not there. She told him that she had already eaten and was too lazy to look for them. Though both of them were in the same school and faculty, they had different majors. He was majoring in economics. She was majoring in finance. It was very difficult to make it into Q University. Many students would definitely become future elites. After class, Lu Baiken called. I thought we agreed that I'll give you a welcome reception. You've been here for a day and you didn't come looking for us. Are you hiding from us? I saw that you were too busy, so I thought I shouldn't disturb. Busy. What was I busy with? Busy hooking up with girls. Get lost, which eye of yours saw that I've been hooking girls up? I got attacked by the girls, alright. I can't bear to see them being sad, so I casually spoke a few words. Haha. Gu Jingyan thought it was funny how this guy became cynical. Alright, I'll give you a welcome reception at the antique at the side of the school. Hurry over. Okay. Ever since Gu Jingze left him, he had become a charming person. However, a charming person would never get romantically involved with anyone. Gu Jingyan was used to it. Soon, she arrived at the antique. She saw a bevy of beauties and could only shake her head. As she walked over, she heard the girls trying to win Lu Baikon's favor. Young Master Lu, will you eat this? Young Master Lu, have a grape. A few pretty girls looked up and saw Gu Jingyan. It was not that they were oversensitive. It was just that Gu Jingyan was too attractive. She was as beautiful as a rose, so fresh and dangerous. They did not want to see such a beauty appear in front of Lu Baikon. Hey, what are you doing? This place is occupied, a girl shouted in a bad manner at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said, I'm here to sit, of course. Hey, how can you be so shameless? I already said this place is occupied. That's right, don't tell me you're here to say hi to young Master Lu. Just as she ended her sentence, Lu Baikon had gotten up. Hey, who are you pointing at? His eyes turned fierce and he immediately pushed the girl's hand away. Ah. The girl got a fright. Lu Baikon shot a cold glance over at her and hurried over to Gu Jingyan. What took you so long? Isn't it still lively even if I'm not around? Gu Jingyan said as she spread her arms. Lu Baikon looked at the girls behind him. It's all because you took too long. I got bored. Haha, so can I have my meal in peace now? Lu Baikon turned his head around and looked coldly. Get lost, all of you. Young Master Lu, what have we done? Young Master Lu, you can't do this. Lu Baikon had no interest in their whining. I don't wish to repeat myself. His words were cold and his face turned dark. A few of them got frightened. Not daring to offend him, they quickly left. They gave a death stare at Gu Jingyan before leaving. They were jealous, yet sad. Who was this girl? Lu Baikon had chased them all away because of her, and he was so fierce. Gu Jingyan shook her head. You're really evil. Why, have I done anything evil to you? Haha, maybe in the next life. Lu Baikon smiled and plated some food for her. Quick, eat, it's already so late, aren't you hungry? I am, I'm starved to death. Then quickly bring the food. Hearing that she was hungry, Lu Baikon turned back to shout, quick bring the dishes, immediately. The restaurant got into a frenzy. Soon, the dishes were served. Gu Jingyan ate very quickly, as though she had not had such good food before. She felt it was extremely tasty. Chapter 1458 She knows Lu Baikon. Alright, eat slowly. Nobody is fighting you. Why, are you afraid I'll eat until you're broke? Haha, eat all you want. Take it as my loss if you eat until I'm broke. Just then, Gu Jingyan had wanted to laugh but in a moment of carelessness, she choked. Cough cough cough, her face turned pale. Lu Baikon's face changed as well. What happened? Cough. Quick, have some water. Oh man, hurry. Lu Baikon quickly got someone to get water. The staff was a little slow in service. Lu Baikon snatched it immediately. Here, have a drink. Lu Baikon said. Gu Jingyan took it and had a sip. Finally, she was at ease. Lu Baikon frowned. Look at you. Gu Jingyan said, gosh, I almost died. Lu Baikon said, it's good that you know that you almost died. When will you start being more careful? Gosh, how old are you, and you still choke on water? I really have to hand it to you. Does someone have to chew your food into smaller pieces before feeding you so you'll be safe in the future? Hey, I'm not as bad as you say I am. You're really a nag. If these ladies knew how much of a nag you are, I think they'd run off in fear. You find me naggy? I'm being concerned for you and you say that I'm naggy. Lu Baikon stomped his feet. See, you're still going on about it, Gu Jingyan said. Lu Baikon said, gosh, you really don't have a heart. Yes, girls are heartless. If you don't like it, don't date any girls. Ha, it's fortunate I'm not dating you. If not, I'd be mad by you every minute. After their meal, Lu Baikon sent Gu Jingyan back to the dormitory. Upon reaching the dormitory, Gu Jingyan realized that his notebook had landed in her bag. It should be his study notebook. But it was already late, so she thought it would be better to return it the next day. The next day was filled with classes. 2 of the classes were with her own class and there was not a need to go to the lecture hall. After Gu Jingyan had sat down, Lu Yi went over. Everyone looked at Lu Yi with envy. Lu Yi was smiling gleefully. He sat down and asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm thinking of going to another class to look for someone. I'm not sure if he'll be in his own classroom." Every major had its own class at their university. They would only go to the lecture hall if they had a mass lecture. Lu Yi said, "Everyone should be in their own class in the afternoon." "Really? Then I'll go look for him." "Who do you want to look for?" "Lu Baikan." "Huh," Lu Yi said in surprise. "Why do you want to look him up?" "Nothing. Some personal matters." She got up and asked, "Is his class at the front?" "Yes, it's a little far from us. Look, it's just in front of the lecture building." "Hey, I thought you said you weren't interested in Lu Baikan yesterday." "Not being interested has nothing to do with me looking for him." "But if you're not interested, then why are you looking for him?" "You think too much. I have some stuff." She smiled, got up, and gave Lu Yi a pat. Then she headed out. Soon, she arrived at Lu Baikan's class. From outside, she saw many pretty girls inside. Lu Baikan had chosen a good class. Gu Jingyan stood at the door, held onto someone, and asked, "Hey, is Lu Baikan in here?" The moment she said she was looking for Lu Baikan, a girl at the door stared at Gu Jingyan and started scrutinizing her. Due to Gu Jingyan's beauty, the girl had to take more than a look. Then, her face got solemn and she said, "Not here." Gu Jingyan asked, "Not here? Is that so? Where could he be if he was not there?" She walked over, intending to have a look. The girl obstructed her path. "What's there to look at? This is not your class to look in." Gu Jingyan was pushed aside and a frown was upon her face. "Why, can't I take a look if it isn't my class?" "Ha, of course not. Why, do you want to go after Lu Baikan?" "Let me tell you, not a chance. There's plenty who have failed, coming to our class and blocking the doorway every day. Who do you think you are? Take a Q number." Gu Jingyan found it absurd. She did not say that she was after Lu Baikan. Even if so, if someone were to go after Lu Baikan, what has it got to do with her? Gu Jingyan raised her eyebrows. "Oh, then who are you to Lu Baikan? Standing here and blocking people's way." The girl glared at her. "I'm nobody, but I just don't like it when people like you run over here to block our door. Shouldn't you have some restraints as a girl? Shoo, don't block others' doorways, all right," she said as she wanted to push Gu Jingyan. This time, Gu Jingyan did not allow herself to be pushed. She retreated and avoided her hand. The girl ended up pushing the air and got frustrated instantly. Gu Jingyan scoffed, "I must find Lu Baikan today." Gu Jingyan made her way in as she spoke. The girl at the door said angrily, "Hey, I've never seen someone as shameless as you. What are you doing? Move, you're not allowed to go in." "I'm looking for Lu Baikan. On what grounds are you not allowing me in?" "Step aside. Why are you so shameless? Which girl is like you? Who do you think you are? You say you want to see Lu Baikan at your will. Look at how shameful you are, and you want to go after Lu Baikan." "Ha, how shameful am I? I know Lu Baikan." The girl was stunned. She looked at Gu Jingyan in disbelief. "Don't think I'll let you in just because you said so." Gu Jingyan could not be bothered with her. She shouted towards the classroom, "Lu Baikan, are you here? Don't pretend to be dead. I've brought your notebook." "You." The girl at the door had horror all over her face. Unexpectedly, Lu Baikan walked out step by step. Gu Jingyan. The girl froze immediately. Watching Lu Baikan walk out and headed directly towards Gu Jingyan, she felt extremely disgruntled. She actually knew Lu Baikan. Gu Jingyan scoffed and immediately went beside Lu Baikan right before the girl's eyes and said, "Don't you want your notebook anymore?" "Oh, it dropped at your place last night. I forgot." He took the notebook. Gu Jingyan looked at the girl whose jaw had dropped. The girl's eyes were full of jealousy, but she walked into the class extremely displeased. She actually knew Lu Baikan. How could that be? Gu Jingyan scoffed in her direction and held onto Lu Baikan's arm immediately. She walked in front of the girl on purpose. Seeing how the girl seemed to be full of rage, she felt much better. Come, remember to have lunch together." It was not just that girl, everyone else had been watching them. Especially when they saw the two of them headed out arm in arm. Their eyes followed the pair out. Who was this beauty? Why did she seem so close to Lu Baikan? Everyone looked at the two of them leaving in bewilderment. They had become the talking point along the corridor. Lu Baikan did not know what had happened. Having been dragged out by her, He only felt that something was amiss with her. Gu Jingyan had been angered by that girl. If not, she could not be bothered about letting people know that she and Lu Baiken were friends. Chapter 1459. Gu Jingyan instantly became a prominent figure. Gu Jingyan also pulled Lu Baiken out. Her main intention was to tell him about lunch. However, they bumped into some roommates as soon as they stepped outside. They saw Gu Jingyan and wanted to call out to her, but they then saw someone beside Gu Jingyan. Who was that? Wasn't that Lu Baiken? Lu Baiken. No way, why is Gu Jingyan together with him? They seem to know one another. The group stared at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan also already sighted them. She glanced at the attention-grabbing Lu Baiken and said, okay. I'll see you in the canteen. I'll go ahead first. Alright. Lu Baiken put his hands in his pockets and stood there. He was so handsome that he made people blush. Gu Jingyan skipped towards her roommates. Ah, Gu Jingyan. You and Lu Baiken. Gu Jingyan, be honest with us. Why were you with Lu Baiken? The two girls immediately cornered Gu Jingyan and interrogated her. Gu Jingyan said, Hey, we're all in one school. What's the big deal about knowing him? We'd be in close proximity professionally or not. It's normal that we would meet frequently. Who could meet Lu Baiken frequently? We also bump into him frequently, but how is it that we've never talked to him after so long? Hey, that's because you guys never talked to him. Indeed, they'd be squealing infatuatedly upon seeing him. They have never talked to him. But they already heard long ago that although Lu Baiken looked like he wasn't that difficult to get close to, he was very aloof in person. If he did not like a person, he would not give face to them at all. After all, a man like him didn't have to look up to anyone else. The two flanked Gu Jingyan as they went back. Before they reached the door, Lu Yi also came over. Who did I see you with just now? Lu Yi looked outside. Was that Lu Baiken? Gu Jingyan patted him. What, didn't I tell you that I was going to look for him? You really went? I thought you were joking. Cough. Why would I joke about that for no reason? Wouldn't you? I thought you were joking. You're really. Lu Yi looked outside for a long time. He felt a little jealous. Lu Baiken was both rich and handsome. He was really lucky, and that was why a girl like Gu Jingyan was destined to be his. Although Gu Jingyan would never have any love at first sight feelings, she was such a pretty girl, and men were bound to have fantasies about her. Needless to say, if she gave them even a little bit of hope, every one of them would drop everything for her in a heartbeat. But if she really fancied Lu Baiken now, Lu Yi could only give her his blessing. Why would such a good girl like her fall for a guy like him? This much he understood too. But he still could not help feeling disappointed. In the afternoon, Gu Jingyan waved bye to Lu Yi. I'm off to lunch. Lu Yi watched as Gu Jingyan went in. Lu Baiken and the others soon joined her and they went to have lunch together. He laughed bitterly and sighed. The reality was indeed cruel. However, this scene was observed by many other students in school. In the few short days of Gu Jingyan's arrival, her name was already making waves. Many people secretly went to find out more about her. Many also talked about her beauty. Although many people didn't know her and some haven't even seen her, they already knew that a beauty had arrived in the Faculty of Finance, and her name was Gu Jingyan. Now, everyone was even more aware that as soon as Gu Jingyan arrived, she began hanging out with Lu Baiken's gang. This wasn't the only impressive thing about Gu Jingyan. In her first few days of school, she submitted a paper that was straight away published in a world-renowned finance magazine. The school publicly praised her for it. Everyone also instantly knew that Gu Jingyan was a straight-A student. She entered Q University because she was directly invited as the top student in B City. But because she kept a low profile, the school had never publicized it. On this day, the paper was published. The teacher then congratulated her in class. At the same time, the teacher also brought up Gu Jingyan's glorious history. Everyone turned to look at this beauty who could have clearly just relied on her looks for her career. Instead, she was so talented too. Lu Yu was seated with her. He looked at her admiringly. Wow, Gu Jingyan, so you're that impressive. Gu Jingyan asked, what do you mean by that? You didn't think that I would be this impressive? Well, I thought that since you're such a pretty girl, you could just get by with your looks. Gu Jingyan sneered, so what you're saying is that I'm like a wallflower? Well, not exactly, it's just that most pretty girls like you probably wouldn't study so hard. Gu Jingyan rolled her eyes. That can only mean that you don't know many girls like me. Yeah, of course, he only knew one girl who was this pretty. Because of the teacher's words, Gu Jingyan instantly became famous. She was already being talked about because she was pretty. Now, everyone knew that Gu Jingyan was so capable too. In the blink of an eye, Gu Jingyan became a prominent person. When she went out, Liu Baikan could still hear others saying, "I heard that Gu Jingyan has been invited to join the student council. They probably want to nominate her for president." Wow, that's impressive. Q University's student council president then, she wouldn't be an average person anymore. That's because she's so capable. Boss Shu said, "Wow, it looks like our big beauty Gu is already gaining fans at top speed." Liu Baikan smiled and did not say anything. He heard another guy say, "Ha, if I can marry Gu Jingyan, I wouldn't mind slogging it out in my next life." "Ha, then you'd better earn 1,000,000,000 yuan first. Otherwise, I doubt you'll be able to marry her. You'll never know if you don't try." "No, I'll serve her some drinks tonight. Which floor is her room at? I'll give some hot water to her." "Forget it, there are plenty of guys lining up to give her things every day. If you want to go, you'll have to join the queue." Liu Baikan's eyes darkened. What a joke, there are people giving Gu Jingyan drinks. Boss Shu shrugged. "Yeah, what did you think? It already started a few days ago." Liu Baikan scoffed coldly. "Seriously, attention grabbing, isn't she tired of trouble?" "This isn't her fault either," Boss Shu said. "The teacher's publicity was too effective. On top of that, she is indeed very attractive. Nothing to do with her. She only knows how to cause trouble." "Seriously," Liu Baikan said as he placed his hands in his pockets. Just then, Gu Jingyan arrived. Gu Jingyan entered their class and called out to them. "Hey, let's go and eat. What are you guys doing?" Now, going to their class was already a normal occurrence. In the beginning, she would be dragging them out. After a few times, she was now the one being surrounded by them as they left. Chapter 1460 Gu Jingyan, is there anything you can't do? Classes for freshman year were actually quite relaxed. It was a pity that it was not the same for Q University. It was already busy once school started. They had classes in the day and self-study at night. During their free time, they still had to go to the library. Thus, when teachers in high school said that everything would be easier in university, it was simply a lie. One had to be completely self-reliant in university. Slacking off would mean no degree certificate. Gu Jingyan came to school and immediately applied for a double degree. Since then, she had been spending time at every library. Thankfully, conditions in a good university tended to be better. The libraries had a rich collection of books and the learning environment was good too. There would be a queue to enter the library every day, but because she was Gu Jingyan, the teachers especially gave her a relaxed condition. She just needed to study at a designated spot daily. She was studying there as usual. After a while, she felt some commotion going on at the side. She looked up to see those few coquettish men come in. The girls were all staring, talking, and squealing. Gu Jingyan shook her head. Seeing them approach her, she asked, "How did you guys get in? Shouldn't you have to line up?" At this time, classes just ended. There should have still been a queue to come in. "Ha, the librarian was so happy to see me that she simply let me in," little Q said playfully. Boss Shu said, "Ha ha, look at him brag. We clearly utilized Liu Baikan's looks. Every time the librarian sees Liu Baikan, she would treat him like a son and quickly let him in." Liu Baikan threw a punch at him. Boss Shu exclaimed. The group laughed and joked around. The people around continued squealing more. Gu Jingyan felt that they really interrupted everyone's studies by coming here. They even disrupted order in the library. Okay, can you guys cut it out for a while? Don't disturb me. Where is the fun in studying all day? Gu Jingyan asked, then what are you guys doing here? Aren't you bored? We came to see you. Haha, if this is boring, you guys are worse. Little Q said, come, let's play a game here. Little Q found someone and simply tossed a few notes at them. The person was more than happy to make themselves scarce. Then, the gang took a game book and sat beside Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said, playing games in the library, I really got to hand it to you. We're keeping you company. As they talked, they already began playing. Gu Jingyan watched from the side and thought that the game actually looked quite fun. Little Q asked, what? Are you interested? Come, I'll let you try it out. Is that so? Fine, I'll give it a shot. But I've never played this. It's fine. Girls can just follow behind. You can stay still in the pool and Liu Baikan will take charge of the whole area. As he spoke, they began a new game under Little Q's lead. Little Q continued saying excitedly, I'll tell you. In this zone, Baiken is absolutely number one. Don't see that he's bad in other things. He's absolutely skilled in this game. You can even consider him to be at a professional level. You have no idea how many people have tried to poach him, but it's a pity that he's not interested. Otherwise, he'd absolutely be. Before he could finish bragging, he saw that Gu Jingyan had already made a beautiful kill. Little Q was stunned silent as he stared. Gu Jingyan looked up and blinked her huge eyes. Like this, right? Boss Shu turned his head. No way, that was Gu Jingyan just now. Little said, of course. Don't you see who's holding the mouse? Boss Shu said, oh my, not bad, not bad. The child is teachable, it might be beginner's luck, but it shows that you do have a gift. Come on, come on. After that, Boss Shu was left speechless. Gu Jingyan ran up to join forces with Lu Baiken. One took charge of attacking, while the other took charge of defending. They defeated the opposing team easily. The opposing team also knew who they were playing against. After all, Lu Baiken's name shone brightly in the entire zone. Who wouldn't have seen it? He had been occupying the number one spot for a year and his team, made up of the few fixed members, all had similar names. They were also elite players and their game playback videos were often published on official websites for discussion. Thus, they knew who these people were. Those who were able to battle against them were naturally elite players too. Thus, they were puzzled when they faced Little Q since when did their attack and defend moves alternate so well? At a glance, all the survivors wanted to fight it out with Lu Baiken, one by one. Boss Shu was originally very surprised and was in disbelief. Gu Jingyan had never played the game before, but in the blink of an eye, she was quick. One hand was on the keyboard while the other was on the mouse. She looked very calm, but her actions were swift and accurate. Boss Shu could not help but sigh in amazement. Jingyan, how come you're playing it so smoothly? Gu Jingyan looked up. It's pretty simple. Gu Jingyan smiled. I used to learn piano and I think this is similar to playing the piano. It's two hands coordinating together. You just need to get a good sense of balance and cooperate well, isn't it? Boss Shu suddenly felt that sometimes, things like this were really a wonder. For example, Gu Jingyan was so strong. Not just because she could do anything, she was strong in anything too. Now, he really thought that nothing could ever faze this girl. Lu Baiken then turned his head and looked deeply at Gu Jingyan. Little Q was already speechless at the side. Looking at Lu Baiken now, he asked, what do you think, Baiken? Lu Baiken looked at Gu Jingyan and nodded. Not bad. Little Q was more amazed. Even Lu Baiken said that she was not bad. Actually, Lu Baiken was the best player among them. They were just lagging behind by a little bit. Thus, when they teamed up, they sometimes could not keep up with Lu Baiken's tempo. For example, the attack or defense would not be able to catch up. But looking at it now, Gu Jingyan seemed to be able to catch up with no trouble at all. After a game, Gu Jingyan then let go of the mouse. Not bad, not bad. Little Q shook his head while clapping. Jingyan, tell me, is there anything on earth that you don't know? Gu Jingyan replied, yes. What? I don't know how to be stupid like you. Wow. Little Q felt that she was really the death of him. Gu Jingyan laughed. Lu Baiken looked at Gu Jingyan and said, since you're so good at it, play again with us next time. Yes, yes, you didn't see how Baiken is the top dog in our zone. Although Gu Jingyan didn't quite get it, she also understood after briefly scanning through. In the game just now, there had been reminders that this round was being recommended to the top gaming websites with thousands of viewers. Furthermore, the post outside already broadcasted the game live, with countless people commenting.